Hey everyone, this is Kevin and Monica, and you're listening to the Pour and Play podcast, where alcohol enthusiasts, bartenders, and business owners share their stories so you can build a successful career in the bar industry. Today, we'll be speaking to an awesome business owner who has been in the food and beverage industry for a while now. She's a brand strategist, a creative, a cook, and the founder of GNISTA Spirit, a Swedish non-alcoholic brand that caters to health-conscious individuals who love to drink but still prefer to count their calories. Ladies and gents, let's give a warm welcome to Erika Ollén. Erika, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me all the way from Sweden. This is big. It's fantastic.
Hello, Erika. Any profession or business starts small and everything has its beginning, from planning to thinking about every detail for a company. And we're so curious, what inspired you to create GNISTA Spirits?
Well, yes, I have been in the food and bev industry all my life, in the non-alcoholic since 2015. And then I was managing a different brand, and I could really feel this non-alc wave coming up with all the new and exciting brands. And then back in 2015-16, when we discussed how to move forward with that other brand, I saw that there was something called Seedlip launching that was a non-alcoholic gin. And obviously, being in the sector, I was super excited, and I bought one of the first few bottles. And me and my partner, we were very surprised. Not that it's a nice drink, for sure, but it doesn't resemble spirit. It's got nothing of that. That bite, the length, there is no body, and there were more followers, more brands, more liquids with the same kind of brand proposition. Yeah. And I was just like, why would they? Why? Because these are brainy people. They're good. Why don't they develop something that is spirit-like? And obviously, like a little while, I realized that it's meant to taste like a spirit or hold up the base for cocktails. It's all about health and calories, and the drink in your hand, the taste of the drink in your hand is not what. So I'm just going to because it's not the drink in the hand and the taste and the experience. That's not the first thing. There are many other things coming first. And so I was like, will this work? Do people like it? Like bartenders and mixologists, and what are their view? And so we are based in Malmö in south of Sweden, and so I went to Stockholm, I went to Copenhagen, across the bridge, and I asked them, and I did blind tastings, and I got confirmed that it's a nice drink, but it's not something that we can replace, like when we're making cocktails, low-no cocktails. And so that was my starting point, where I don't come from the spirits industry, I come from the gastronomy side of things. So for me, it wasn't, the most important thing wasn't that it should be made according to certain frames or rules. For me, it's all about the taste experience. And so I do all these mixologists and bartenders, like if I was to make non-alcoholic spirits that would actually do the job and will replace other ones, what characteristics should they have? What are the key paths? So in essence, I just listen to them, and then I go back and so their answers were like, well, you need you need certainty, you need bitterness, or there were different a lot of tannins. And so based on their answers, I go back into the kitchen, and that's where I was like, okay, fine. So when it comes to the acidity, what kind of acidity is there? Well, there's a rhubarb that will do the job in this setting. And so I started creating this that way. And so I always held the hand of the bartenders. I said this was back in, so we launched 2019, so we've been around for some time.
Yeah, well, that's such an amazing history you got there, and me and Monica did research on you as well, and looked at that you are part of the food and beverage industry for a while. It's amazing to hear that you were, you're really into the gastronomy side of everything. With regards to NISTA means spark in Swedish, right?
Yeah.
What made you choose that name?
Why? Well, it's I think it's interesting. We've always drinking alcohol, cocktails. It's always been part of our lives as humans. And when things change, go forward with people get more healthy. They don't want to drink sometimes, etc., etc. What is it? What's going to happen then? How can we redefine things? When with this new, I suppose, with the launch of the category non-alc spirits, it's just a super creative space. There's everything. It's complete confusion for the consumer because there's everything from tasting a lot to tasting nothing to and everything in between, from high quality to low quality. But but we want to be I wanted us to be a challenger brand, and the definition of spirits. What is it going forward? How entering? What is it that really defines a spirit? Is it the alcohol? Is it the production method, or is it something else? And if something else, what is that something else? As a spark, I wanted us that to be word for going forward and just challenge.
I see. That's awesome. That's really nice.
So you've mentioned earlier about blind tasting the alcohol and spirits. What were your earlier struggles when you and your team were still creating the taste you wanted to sell to people?
The early struggle, I think, had nothing to do with the taste. The early struggles had to do with more people experienced. Spirit, why the price point, that kind of thing. That was more the issue, rather than the actual liquid, I would say.
The next question was, what was the most difficult challenge you encountered other than what you mentioned earlier? Were there any other challenges that you had to face when you were starting NISTA?
Two challenges. Number one, money is always a challenge when you go forward. But the biggest challenge, when we launched late 2019, the global craze was so big, had it this is going to happen very fast. And then just after 3 months, it was a pandemic.
Yeah, the COVID.
And the lights of the entire hospitality industry, they just closed down or turned off. Mm-hmm. So that was a big challenge. How do you react? And many brands were very successful, redirecting. So instead of going to, because bartenders and restaurants, they've always been our biggest cheerleaders. But many others redirected and went directly to consumers via online. We didn't have the funds to do that. So that was quite a challenge. I suppose in the end, it wasn't so bad because, it gave me time to find great partners. We're exporting to the US, Canada, countries in Europe, Australia, Middle East. We just started. So this is meant time means that you can really test partnerships. So that's a good thing. I think another thing is that this is a new kind of product, and we've now got a good way of scaling. We've tested the quality because you never know. But that was definitely a challenge with the pandemic, and and that our 80% of our thought customers were just not there.
I see. Yeah, the pandemic did a lot of things to like the world. It stopped a lot of
really.
things. But the good thing about that, you were able to perfect your product.
Yeah. So that was good, and I think another thing that the pandemic has taught us is that the pandemic we have the environmental problems, we have now the war in Ukraine, and just a lot of craziness. But throughout all these craziness times, people. This is one learning that I have. People care, but they sometimes also just want to pause. And when they do, they want to drink something nice.
Yeah,
that's true.
Despite from these challenges, what keeps you and your team motivated about your work?
I think it's so fantastic to represent a brand, to represent quality. I've always cared a lot for quality. It's important to me, and it's I'm not one of these business owners wanting to expand rapidly and they get the biggest possible margin and all of that. I don't really care. What I care about is seeing a bar manager report GNISTA into a glass, swirl around and see that kind of happy face and like, actually quite good. Not what I expected. That's a big motivator, to be able to offer some people something that they didn't know that they wanted it.
Yeah, that's a very great motivation to have. I mean, it keeps you going despite everything, all the challenges that you may face and you may meet. That's a very good motivation to have, Erika. And you and the company that's a very good motivation to really just have. Since everything around us right now is progressing so quickly, we just had the pandemic. There's like a war now in Ukraine. Especially with technology as well, other than current events with technology and introduction of new products, how do you continue to learn in order to stay on top of things in your role as being a business owner?
I listen to the market, I listen to people. I spoke to someone, having one of these Innovation Spirits congresses in London earlier today, and he was like, who would you talk to? Is there like a guru in the industry, or is there someone in the space? And I was like, I don't really have time. I don't know anyone. It's, for me, it's like, and I think for most of us small startups just moving rapidly, it's about, having the ears towards the ground. Listen to the customers, check out the forums, what do people share, and, what's the word of town when it comes to non-alc spirits, cocktails, all of that. So it's listen to the market, people, wherever they are, whether it's talking to someone live or talking to someone or listening or chatting with someone in a community or a forum. I think also it's kind of interesting because the non-alc wave is obviously a global one, but the different countries and the different markets, they have come different far, and that's also like very interesting, I think. So when I talk to someone in the US, what he told me a couple of years ago, and then I meet someone in Sweden, and what they say now will correspond to what the Americans said like a year ago. The UK is 5 years ahead. Competition in the UK is fierce. So it's the same kind of conversation, but it varies depending on where you are.
I see. By the way, I have it's a non-business question. I have a question regarding your products. have you guys already shipped out here to the Philippines? Because I really wanted to try your drink before we had this podcast today.
No, we're in Singapore and we're in Australia, but that's where we are. I can get both.
Oh, that would be awesome. I wanted to try because when I was reading, when me and Monica were reading your website, I got interested with the two drinks that you have. The sparkling, no, what was the name? The floral wormwood and the barreled oak. I'm very interested in tasting.
Yeah, I should probably introduce them like this. So the floral wormwood is bitter. It's lavish, oregano, orange peel, almonds, and obviously lots of wormwood, raisins, and then there's a barrel oak. And you know, I deliberately choose not to call them like a non-alcoholic bourbon when I started, because I don't think you can make a non-alcoholic bourbon. I think, you know, it would be extremely hard to find, you know, precise. For me, it was more to do with, okay, so when you're in a bourbon drinking occasion, but you don't want the bourbon, you want something without alcohol, how can we match that? What is it in the drink that matters? Well, obviously smokiness, but there are other like aspects as well. So, for example, so in this one we have rosemary, cinnamon. We have chocolate rice. It's not like when you drink it, you shouldn't expect it to taste like a bourbon. There are a few non-alc whiskies on the market, but I think it's just if you think that it will taste like that. So the floral wormwood is not a vermouth, but it works in all occasions where you'd otherwise use a vermouth in a drink or like neat as an aperitif. And the barrel oak is not a bourbon, but it will work, you know, whenever you want to use a bourbon or even like a rum in drinks, it will make it tasty. So what you get in the end when you mix with GNISTA, you can obviously drink the neat as well, is that you get drinks that taste like they're alcoholic. That's like the bottom. So when you want to have something that would otherwise like give you the feel of a Negroni, but you don't want the alcohol, then, you know, GNISTA is different in the sense that it's kind of hard, you know, as in challenging taste-wise. But it will also, you know, carry through when used as a drink mixer.
That's awesome. I really want to taste that. If I can get my dad to bring, you said you have stuff also in the Middle East, right? In Dubai, do you think you have products there as well?
So we just started. So the Kuwait has got the first shipment, and then it's Dubai and Saudi coming next. But the thing is that we have in these versions of GNISTA, they have like 0.3% alcohol. So what I make like extracts made with absolute vodka, and then you know I soak and I put them in small barrels. So obviously for the Middle East versions, they are 0.0. So they are, like even if you have 0.3% alcohol, you know, you'll get some depth and complexity and that. Like really what I wanted to imitate. But they love it. Like, you know, they're not used to it, so they'll be happy anyway.
Okay, yeah, I was asking because I'm going to ask my dad to buy me some when he comes home, because he's actually in Dubai right now. So I really want to try your drinks out. So I hope he can pass by.
Is he going to be there next week?
Yeah, he's still there.
Is he going to be there next week?
Yeah, he's going to stay there for a while because he's working. So he might come home by end of July.
Okay, cool. Well, then I have a business partner who's going to Dubai next week. So maybe they could, like, for a couple of weeks, maybe go and just bring bottles and give them to that.
Oh, that would be so awesome. Thank you, Erika.
Yeah, fine. No, we'll.
So since this is a huge business you're making and it's hitting up people's interest all around the world, what is the most important thing you learned in this business?
I think it has to do with what I said before, that people who want to celebrate even when times are hard. And the other thing possibly is that there aren't any. I suppose for some businesses there will be some set rules. In this industry, there aren't really any set rules. Why should there be? And if some people think so, okay, fine, let them do it. And I'm just guessing, that would apply for any business, any industry that you've been like. Well, if you want to change something, if you want to try something, and you have the target group and you have the needs, well, just do it.
Yeah. So you've been in the industry for a while. You've started GNISTA 2019, but you've already, have been in the non-alcoholic scene since 2015. What advices can you give to aspiring business owners who want to create a product maybe similar to yours, or just any product in the current bar scene right
now? Well, first, listen to go and ask, what's needed. Go and ask the bartenders, mixologists. It could be like a product doesn't taste. It could also be like something else. Let's say, delivery in drums or barrels to a place. Like when you want to cut off, help the environment, not shipping bottles, etc. Like there could be other ways, many ways that you can be innovative. So ask for and make sure there is a actual need for it. The second one is prioritize. It's when you're a business owner, when you're running a startup, you can if you run off even half of the balls out there, you'd be burned out. There's just too much work, too much to be done. And so prioritize and go after the low-hanging fruit. That would be my top tip, because no one can do everything. As long as you know what you want to do and just do it methodically, then you'll get there.
Yeah, that's actually great advice. Taking one step at a time until you reach your goal. That's really good. Yeah.
And then, can you see me? I can't see me. And then I think there will be lots and lots of things happening, fires to turn out, problems arising. They're just it's just brimmed with troubles going forward. So, just each come in the queue and then you take them separately. That's my advice.
Wow. So everyone who's listening right now, take note, because especially business owners or people who are starting their own products, that's what Erika just said is great advice. So take note. This will really help you out.
Well, thank you. But it's important not to be. Oh, sorry, my ears are too small. It's important not to be stressed out. There are a lot of things to be stressed out about life. I mean, in 100 years, we're all going to be dead. So, who cares?
That's true. That's really true.
So, what do you believe can really inspire people who wanted to pursue this career?
I don't know. I think inspiration differs depending on who you are. I think people will be motivated if they have an idea and they get good feedback. Not just sayers, but proper feedback. I'd be happy, by the way, if someone has an idea, feel free to send an email to Erika, at GNISTAspirits.com, and I would try to help out. What you want is like constructive feedback. Is this actually good or not? Or how can it?
People in the bar industry are really kind. You and
people in the bar industry are really kind.
Yeah, that's true. Because we also had another guest a few weeks ago, Miss Heather Wibbles, and you guys are awesome. I can just say, from a business owner to a content creator as well as a mixologist, it's everyone is kind in this industry. So listen up, guys. If you need help and advices, everyone wants to help you out, which is really good. You don't see that in other niches or other kinds of passions that you want in life. It's hard to get.
I totally agree. I've been to so many bars. Okay, sorry. Go ahead. Ask me. Next question.
No, sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry to cut you out.
No, it's fine. I just to say that I've been to so many hotels and bars and hospitality people. They are the best.
I agree. I truly agree. Erika, since your products are dedicated to creating drinks, GNISTA is dedicated to creating drinks that give a distinct taste. What distinguishes you from other spirits and non-alcoholic drinks and cocktails that you believe will make it unforgettable to people?
Well, first of all, we're the first one that is recommended to drink neat. So a big majority of the non-alcoholic spirits on the market, when you go onto the website, they will say, don't consume this product neat. So that's really one thing that sets us apart. You can enjoy this with an ice cube or a lemon slice, top up with some soda if you want. But they do have distinct tastes, but I would say the complexity in the body, to carry stuff all the way, and I think that has to do also with the fact that I don't care too much about calories. I think there are other ways. My head is if you drink a non-alc gin with 0 calories, but you mix it with either tree tonic, well, you're going to have the sugar and the calories anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
So, since GNISTA is crafted and balanced the same way you could cook a delicious meal, what cocktail would you recommend to foodies like us? Well, I like spicy food. What would you recommend?
Spicy food. Well, then you can make a dark and stormy. I would actually with a great fresh ginger and all of that. But I would, the most foodie kind of drink, and one that, I would say this is good for drinks, but this one is more versatile. This tend to be the floral worm would tend to be the favorite for bars and restaurants. And one that I think is quite fascinating is equal part bitter floral wormwood, equal parts cream or oat cream if you're vegetarian, and then equal parts grape juice. And then you shake that on ice for a little while, and you're going to have a delicious and different tasting drink. But if you like dark and stormy, then I would go for one with ginger and lots of goodies.
Can't wait to try that when I have the opportunity to try your drinks.
Sorry again?
No, I was just saying that I can't wait for the opportunity to try that cocktail you said with GNISTA Spirits.
Perfect. And let me know what you think once you get it.
Of course. Yeah, sure. By the way, we've looked at GNISTA's website and the cocktail photos look amazing, by the way. Did you guys use a Polaroid camera to shoot these?
No, we used a normal camera, but we have a very good photographer. So he, in essence, like, we just wanted to capture the nostalgia, like the classic way, the dark spirits have been portrayed, over the past like 50, 60 years, but also the, that like other world, other feel that you sometimes enter when you enjoy life and when you drink cocktails.
Yeah,
no Polaroid, just a lot of flash.
Yeah, but your photographer and the concept he had, or you guys have, really is amazing. I can't stress that enough. The photos look great. I mean,
it's very unique.
What's with mixologists and anyone from the bar industry making amazing photos? Like, God, you guys are great.
Yeah, well, thanks. It's the photographer, is David. He's not a bartender. He's just a good photographer.
Imagine he could still do that. Man, photographers are amazing.
So, aside from creating a drink that is aimed at health-conscious customers, what do you envision for GNISTA in the future?
Well, I want us to continue to be a brand and to continue to really find things and continue to offer quality, because that was really like the starting point. I didn't agree with where the category non-alcoholic spirits, where that category was heading and what kind of drink was presented, and so I jumped into that pool. And I tried to stir things up a little bit. So now in August we're going to launch like red wines. And when I said red wines, I mean it's not a de-alcoholized wine. So I think one of the problems with the spirits industry, or like the non-alcoholic spirits category, is that people think too much about the distillation process, all of that. Well, if you distill but you don't have the alcohol as a base, you'll get something that's completely different from when you distill something, the base. And really, it's with wines, it's the same thing. It's not like what makes a great red wine drinking experience great. It's not the fact that that it's made from grapes, or that it comes from Italy or France, or it's something else. What are those building blocks, and how can we get there, like using gastronomy and tech. So that's really what I hope to be able to continue to deliver drinking experiences to people.
And we're very sure you can achieve that too. With how the company is, like the trajectory you guys are in now, I think that's really possible.
Yeah, I hope so. Well, it's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of uncertainty, but it's. But yeah, no, it feels good. And given the amount of people in the world and the non-alcohol wave, and I mean, because to be honest, the great majority of people choosing non-alcoholic, they're not 0.0 people. They drink normal cocktails, they drink wine and normal beer. It's just that sometimes, because it's a Tuesday, or because it's getting rich on Friday and they don't want to be hungover, they want something else. That's what people, they're just growing. I'm sure, I'm sure you have friends with the same kind of, a few years back they had every day of the week, and now it's like, I'm not going to skip it like Monday to Thursday or.
Yeah, that's true. When I was younger, I used to drink with my friends every weekend. Just beer and stuff. But now, as I've grown older, I don't drink as much as I should, or as I could. I think not I should.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but and then you have like the group of people, being in their 20s now. They don't even have a relationship to alcohol or to drinks. They don't have like an emotional tie. For them, it's not like, well, you're meant to have a GT before dinner, or you're meant to have like something else. They still want something to fill the gap. So that means that the fact that they don't have these already set ideas means that they're more open to more creative drinks concepts.
That's true. That's really true. So you already answered what's going on with GNISTA for the next couple of months. How about you? Do you have any plans for the next couple of months?
What, me personally?
Yeah, personally, or this.
Yeah, I do. I'm gonna launch the wine. No, but I except for business, I bought a farm a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of work refurbishing that. I have 3 girls, and so I'm going to spend at least like 2 or 3 weeks in the summer just like hanging out with them. We're going to start of France. Might have some nice wines. We'll see.
Oh, that's so amazing. That's great.
So that's a little bit of rest, but other than that, it's just full steam ahead with the work.
You should still take time off too, because I know like being a business owner, you're very hands-on. You should be hands-on most of the time. Business owners are.
Yeah.
So taking time off is a good thing for you as well. Mm-hmm. Very important.
It is very important, and I think it's much. I mean, I've been an entrepreneur since I was in my 20s. I'm now 40, and it's a big difference when you have children. Like when you have children, the minute that you hang up to go to school or to nursery to collect them, you just like, you cannot do both. I've tried. You cannot like press release and be with your baby. It's just going to be like a bad press release, and you're going to be a bad mum. So you just need to like choose. So I think it's that's actually very good. It's very helpful to have a family that you can. And I have a big garden plot. Like I'm now growing and removing weed and adding, straw, and that's also really good.
Oh, that's amazing. That's so amazing.
What about you? What are you doing?
Me for the next couple of months, maybe improve in my cocktail drinking, I guess, because I'm very used to drinking beer. I do drink cocktails now because my wife is such a great cook and she mixes a lot of things. So she keeps making me like drinks I don't know about. It's a really great experience. So yeah. And
so you're gonna have some cocktails.
Yeah, I'm gonna have cocktails as well as trying to lose weight, because it's time for me to lose weight. I've been chubby for the better half of my life. It's time to be healthier. How about you, Mon?
Well, right now I'm really busy with my internship, and in a couple of months I'll be having my long vacation.
Wow, well-deserved vacation.
Yeah, well-deserved.
Yeah.
So, Erika, where can people connect with you?
Either through GNISTA Spirits, Instagram, Facebook, or obviously through the phone number or the email on our website. And I'll be one of the other. It's always GNISTA Spirits.
Okay, thank you, Erika. We had such a great time with you, Erika, by the way. Before we let you go, or before you go, do you want to say anything to our listeners?
No, enjoy summer. Choose quality. And have that well-deserved rest before you head into fall.
You heard it here first, folks. So thank you again, Erika, for joining us today. We appreciate you having this time to do this interview with us.
Of course. Thank you.
For everyone listening, make sure to check out GNISTA's website, www.gnistaspirits.com. You can also check out the links to reach us and GNISTA in the show notes below. Thanks everyone. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.